way to the dispensary. But I was like, today is the 1st, right? I did watch The Deliverance, and then I went and watched Demon House. You know, I had to get the whole story. Girl, I don't really know about that guy's documentary, and I didn't really appreciate that the people that it happened to did not want to be a part of the documentary. And then the people that were a part of the documentary, all of them got sick. All of them got sick, my nigga, all of them. Everybody that went into that fucking house, even the people that said that they used to live there and they came back because they heard that they were filming a documentary, they came back to the house. The lady that lived there when she was a little girl, she brought her kids in there. And then her kids, couple of days, the daughter tried to end her own life. And then they took her to the church that they, the lady that brought her daughter, she brought her daughter to her children, and they were in there, and they said everybody seemed to get confused. Like, they would be in the house for a little while, and then they would start like getting confused and like trying to figure out, like, are they where they are? And they showed it was happening to everybody. It happened to the girl, the woman, and her daughter. Her daughter was like, so is the demon still in the house? And then the man was like, yeah, we're thinking that. And so she was like looking around. They said 3 days later, she started looking around. 3 days later, she tried to end her life. Then they took her to get an exorcism. She was sitting in the church. She started doing her hands like this. She started doing her hands. And then all of a sudden she just dropped, boom, like that. And then that's when the priest said that was probably when whatever was possessing her left her body. And then, so after that, so they said, is the demon still in the house? So then after that, the girl, they went to the church, the demon, whatever was possessing her left her body. His camera guy, they had set up cameras all around the house. His camera guy, same thing. He started looking at his hands. He was looking at his hands. Then he left where they were standing and went down to the basement. Then when they were back at the hotel, his camera guy started talking to himself, yelling, screaming, fucking bitch, you want me, you fucking bitch. Like maybe like he was arguing with this entity. Then the elevator door opened. They were in the hotel. The elevator door opened. He said he saw the goat, it was like a tall goat head man. And he saw at the top. I wonder if the dispensary is open. Am I too early? I thought they opened at 7. Girl, so this The Deliverance, it was pretty good. It was okay. You know, it was okay. But the real story, that is what I was wanted to, they were like, it was a documentary on Amazon Prime, and I went right to the documentary so I can watch it, called Demon House. Girl, why I started falling asleep. I was like, let me close this laptop, honey, while I'm watching Demon House. Girl, okay, I'll be right back. I'm going to the dispensary. I'll be right back. But what was I about to say? Yeah, we're gonna do a little sativa. Look at they got Walmart. Bitch, they got Walmart receipts at the you ever think you get a receipt like this for buying reefer? Girl. Where's my lighter? I'll buy a lighter. So yeah, I'm gonna do, this is pineapple. It's like a pineapple. Okay, so we're gonna go there. Okay. And so let's finish talking about Demon House. So the Deliverance was good. I mean, you know, it had its like, you know, moments like Glenn Close, her wardrobe. She was giving you typical white woman who loves BBC, and I'm so glad that dialogue was in the script. You just like them white bitches. You want, what she tell her, you want to fuck niggas, but when it's time to really be down with the niggas, you ain't really down with the niggas. I knew that was gonna come up when that scene, when she was like really, I've seen that actually little biracial kids, and the mother like take the side of the person and not her kid. I've actually seen that a couple of times. So when that dialogue was there, I thought that was actually kind of genius. I was like, okay, because that's dialogue, right? The mother was a neglectful mother, right? Always putting cock before her children. Oh, I want to go to Starbucks. Always putting cock before her children, and same thing. She was putting drinking before her children. Oh, you want to get by. Putting drinking before her children, being a drunk. They moved into the house. The house started possessing the little boy. He really did good. That little boy did good. And the other little boy, Caleb from Stranger Things. Oh my God, he reminds me of my son so much. So much. He reminds me of my kids so much. Caleb from Stranger Things. But yeah, he was in it too. He did really good too. And the girl, she reminded me of Keke Palmer. I was like, who's this little girl? The kids did great. Kids in scary movies, they just always do so well. But somebody need to help them after, because he was possessed when he was strangling him in the tub, and he looked up from the tub and he was looking at the grandmother. I was like, oh my God, these kids, they doing the most. I said, shout out to child actors, baby. Child actors. Did you know that the child actor who played Danny in The Shining did not know that he was filming a scary movie? Stanley Kubrick made it so he didn't even know he didn't know he was filming a scary movie. They interviewed him years later. He became a teacher, dropped completely off, went back into private citizenship basically. And I think, in an interview, he said that he didn't know that they were filming a scary movie. Stanley Kubrick put boundaries in place. I don't know how he didn't know he was doing a scary movie. Talking about this red rum. You didn't know you was doing a scary movie? Girl, you didn't see them little girls down the hall? You didn't see them twins? Little Danny? You was on your big wheel? Anyways, so the Deliverance was pretty good. I mean, I gave it an 8 out of 10. I wanted it to be scarier. In all scary movies, you have a little comedic, humor. When she told, I can smell your nappy pussy. With them little teeth, them little Tokyo Tony teeth. It's so funny because Tokyo Tony's teeth are huge, but that's what when I see her, I see them little sharp demon teeth when I see that lady. Oh, what is the what's going on? Why is the fire department right there? Let me get me a little latte. Let me do a little latte. We're gonna do a latte, and I think I want to do. Do I want to do a pastry? I don't know. I don't think these bumps, girl. Bumps and the humps. Pumps and the bumps. With the pumps and the bumps. Pumps and the bumps. Pumps and the bumps. So then I went and watched the documentary, and everybody in the documentary got sick. The man who was doing the frequency variations, testing the frequency in the room, he got sick. All his damn organs started shutting down. He was in the hospital. He was filming from the hospital bed, girl. He had gotten so sick that all his organs started shutting down, and he touched the blinds. So there was this part where the blind in the house, they don't know where it came from, but there was this oily substance on the blinds. Let's order our.
Hello, just let me know when you're ready.
Yes. May I have a hot grande chai with oat milk?
Yeah.
Can I have 2 shots of blonde, please?
Got you.
And 2 pumps of brown sugar. Extra hot, please.
Okay, anything else I can get for you?
Yes, and let's do a cheese Danish warmed, please.
Okay.
And that's all.
Awesome. Does everything look correct on the screen?
It does.
Okay, I will see you after for 13 seconds.
Thank you.
Thank you.
1370. Okay, let's get our money. And so yeah, the man, so he was in there testing the frequencies. It would get cold, you know, the frequencies was going ba, 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 and one corner of the room is going ba, 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 ba. And then it went over to the guy who was making the documentary. He was like, why is it going so hard over here? And he was like, at one moment he felt like he wanted to lunge toward the little EMF guy. He was, you know, doing the electromagnetic fields, and he was testing them. Then he got confused. He started getting confused. He was in the house. He started looking around. He walked away, and then he was looking, and it was like everybody, they like, as soon as they got some sort of possession, they started getting confused. The little girl was getting confused. Even the little boy, that lady who came back to the house, that she grew up in the house for a little while, and she came back to the house, girl, let her children in the house. She even asked her, hi. Thank you.
Have a good one.
Thank you. You do the same.
Thank you.
Okay. They were so quick, girl. Let me put my card back in the, and there's nobody behind me. Oh, there's nobody. Okay, hold on. I'm about to go to the park. We're about to go to the park. I don't have nothing in I'm just talking about the deliverance. Let me put my card back here. I gotta put my card. I gotta do everything before I drive off, Chef. Because the ADD is a motherfucker. You understand what I'm saying? So let me go this way. So there was this oily substance that was on the blinds inside of the house. They don't know where it came from. They don't know how it got there. There was nothing dripping. It was just this oily substance on the blinds. They were looking at it. One of the child services workers, she touched the blinds. As soon as she touched the blinds, she said, like, it was almost like the blood had left her hand, and half of her hand just got pale because it was like no blood flow in her hand. She ended up, they said, like, for a few months after she had come in contact, let me go this way. After she had come in contact with that blind, she had started breaking bones in her body, girl. Like her ankle, I think they broke her ankle. I don't know. It was like 4 different broken bone instances that she had. Then people would not want to go back. I'm not going back to the house. I'm not going back to the house. I'm not going back to the house. I'm not going back to that house. He kept going back to the house. He bought the house. He ended up buying the house. The filmmaker, he bought that. He ended up buying the house. He says he wants to be locked up in the house. He had to, so one of his crew members, he got possessed. They were at the hotel. He's screaming. They got it all on camera. He's screaming. He's like talking to him. It looks like he's talking to himself. Clearly he's not talking to himself. He's talking to something. And he says to that something, you're not, like, is that all you got, bitch? You're like, and he's yelling. And then he goes into the elevator. The guy goes to the elevator. He's not on the elevator anymore. Like, the elevator had, gone. He's not on the elevator anymore. He comes back up. What are those things? He comes back up and he's yelling. And then they're backing up. They get him in the room. They're like, come on, dude, get in the room, get in the room. He goes in the room. He goes in the room and, oh, girl, it's no parking. Oh, it might be parking right there. I'm about to park right there. Did somebody leave? Or somebody just has a little car? Oh, it's a little car. The parking lot is full already. It's only 9:15. That's how it's popping at the park already. So I can't park in the accessible parking, of course. So I'm just going to park on the street. Yeah, they're all setting up. I'm going to come up here later. I love it because they set up, they have like, oh, see, they're going to have food and everything. I'm going to bring my big ass right up here later. Yes. Hello, sir. I'm going to come right. Oh, see, there's a parking right here. And I'm about to park here. I'm about to park here. Let me back up a little bit. I found the last parking stall in the parking. So I'm gonna finish talking about the deliverance. Okay. So people didn't know that it was based on true events, right? So shout out to Lee Daniels. Okay, it's okay. It was okay. The film was okay. I wanted to be more scary. I'm a horror movie girl. I love scary movies. Scary, but not like scary, not corny scary. Understand? Not corny scary. We need like scary that I feel like it's real scary. Psychological scary, right? Things you think about, right? Images, like they didn't show the demon. They didn't show it. Oh, in the documentary. So in that, so after his crew member, he had to fire the crew member. He was like, let me give you an update on the crew member. The crew member, while he was possessed or whatever was happening to him, he was sitting in a chair. He was sitting down and he was like, he kept doing his hands. Everybody, it was the hands. I'm telling you, they're powerful. He was doing his hands. And then he was like, oh my God, my hands are cold. And then one of the other film crew, he got close and he was like, oh my God, it's so cold next to him, real super duper cold. They gave an update on the film crew guy, totally goth out the game, wearing black shit all over his eyes. He got 666 tatted on both of his hands where he was feeling how he was feeling. 666 going around, right? He started having, his whole little attitude and personality just switched. The EMF guy, his organs started shutting down. They did not understand the cause of it. They did not understand how it was happening to him. He touched the blinds. They showed him touching the blinds, looking out. The kids touched the blinds. The kids touched the blinds. The little girl. When that woman came into the house, she came into the house. She was like, they were in the little foyer, right? Before you walk into the house, little porch, little enclosed porch. Oh my God, it smells so freaking good, bro. It smells so good. I kind of want to get out, but I'm talking. I don't want to be loud. Okay. So while they're in the foyer, he asked her, when you were living here, did you ever feel like anything weird was going on? She was like, no, not really. Just like my brother, I never went in the basement. She said, my brother, he lived in the basement. Her brother ended up getting KILLED. Okay. This lady, right? This lady who came back to the house. She came back to the house. She's talking to the filmmaker. And he was like, you want to go in? And she was like, yeah, I want to go in. He was like, you haven't been in since? She was like, yeah, I'll go in. So her kids were with her. She asked the kids, you want to go in? They were like, yeah, let's go in. They like, yeah. Girl, this is not for fun. This is real, lady. What you let your children go in there for? So they walking through the house. They're walking through the house. They looking at everything. The kids touch the blinds. I would have said, don't touch nothing in this motherfucker. Right? First of all, we wouldn't have been in there. Especially kids, because they are more susceptible, right? Because they don't know, right? So they're more susceptible, more vulnerable. And there's some adults who are more vulnerable too. But more folks know how to protect themselves, what to say, whatever. So they were the woman, the lady who witnessed the boy climbing up the wall and was like, you stupid bitch, and this and that. I guess the woman who played Monique's role, she was in the documentary. She said she saw it. She said, I saw that boy climb up the wall backwards, just his body climbing up the wall. I saw it. I wasn't the only one who saw it. There were other people there who saw that. The little boy didn't even remember doing it. He didn't even remember doing it. Nothing. But I saw it. He interviewed the lady who played Monique's character. He interviewed her. She moved. She moved out of Gary, Indiana. They said, and I hear it a lot. They said like towns that are like riddled with poverty and just like, it's just like an energy that is like a lot like Candyman. Like when you think of that, that'll put you in the same brain. Like you get these kind of like this folklore. Ooh, that house over there, you know, and they'd be like, that house, don't go over there by that house. I remember there used to be a house in my neighborhood, Miss Evans, I'll never forget it. Miss Evans' house. But she lived in that house and people used to think that it was haunted, this and that. Miss Evans lived on top of the hill. Old Jewish woman. She probably lived there since forever. I mean, but she has lived there since forever. I wonder, I need to go look up that, see whatever happened to that house. The Cholos used to be up there. She used to, they used to be up at Miss Evans' house. Miss Evans' house was at the top of the hill. And people would be like, don't go in that house. Don't go to Miss Evans' house. Don't go to Miss Evans' house. But those are like in like neighborhood. There's always that house. Don't go by that house. Don't go by this fucking house. They said when they went down to the basement, they looked like somebody had been doing ritual. He kept some soil from the house. So let me get back. I know I'm all over the place. So the woman, she lets her children in the house. They go down to the basement. And she has 3 children. And she was like, the man said, you sure you want to go in here? Because the woman that lived here who had the occurrences, she also had 3 children, except for it was 2 boys and 1 girl. This lady had 2 girls and 1 boy. So they're walking through the house. They're asking questions. The kids seem interested. They're asking questions. The one girl who ended up trying to kill herself, she goes, so is the way it was a trip, because the way she was looking around, she was like, so is the demon still in the house? Like that. They took her to the church while they went to the basement with the kids. They went to the basement with the kids. They go down to the basement. When they in the basement, the woman says to her son, and you could see the lady go like this. She was like, why did you kick me? Don't kick me. He was like, I didn't kick you. He was like, I didn't kick you. She was like, don't do, like, she was talking to him like, don't try to scare me, right? And he was like, I didn't kick you. They look, what happened? What happened to the video? I don't know. He kicked a leg. She kicked her leg. He was like, what happened? She was like, you kicked me. And he was like, no, I didn't. They went back to the video, showed her buckling, right? And he didn't kick her. She was like, I gotta go. She started looking around. She was like, I don't feel right in this basement. She said as a child, when she lived in the house, she never went down to the basement either. So this was her first time going to the basement, and she had even lived in that house. They had an altar set up in the basement, like with a cross and stuff. You know, the mother in the film, she put the cross on the wall, and then when Monique came and she saw how it was like on fire, the cross was burned up and stuff like that. Omar Epps was in the film. I don't know what he played the grandma's boyfriend. You know, she had to have a younger black man. That hairstyle, she had the hairstyle and everything. So anyway, so back to the documentary. So they leave out of the house. The woman calls the filmmaker, and she says, like, my daughter is tripping. She's acting weird. I don't know what's going on with my daughter. The one who asked, is the demon still in the house? She was like, my daughter's acting weird, blah, blah, blah. Daughter was stabbing herself. The sister was like, I never seen nothing like this. I didn't understand. She never act like that to my mom. She told my mom she was going to KILL her, and she never has talked like that to my mom. And it was so funny when they were leaving, the kids got into the car, but the son, he was standing outside the car, and he just kept looking at the house. And then he went and got in the car. Then who else was affected by the house? The woman, the worker that was played by Monique, she had to go through therapy, and she has PTSD from the experience. The family did not want to participate in the documentary. The family did not want to participate. The man said before he bought the house, he saw the goat head figure, and the goat head figure was breathing black smoke into his mouth. And then he said that when he was in the house, so then he ends up, progressing to the point where he's like, it's a lot of strange things happening to the people that have visited the house. It's a lot of strange things that are happening to me. He felt a possession for a little while, and then they were like, come out the house. And he was like, no, I don't want to come out the house. They were like, come out. The other crew was like, come out. Because he had started acting weird. He had gotten into another film, the crew's face, one of the crew's face, acting like he wanted to fight him. And you could see it because they had already set up cameras. You can't hear them though. They just set up surveillance. He was like pushing up on his chest and stuff like that. And then he was like, come out the house. Come on, we got to get out of this house. And he was like, no, I don't want to get, he was standing in the doorway of the house. And he was like, I don't want to leave. I was like, nigga, if you don't get your ass out of this house. But he was like, I want to be in the house by myself. So he boarded himself up in the house, stayed in the house all by himself, recording the entire time. You hear a woman screaming, saying, that's my baby. I think that's what she said. That's my baby. And then you hear a growl. It's a lot of like, even the EMF guy, he was like, there's dogs around here? They were like, no, there's no dogs around here. The same thing that the other woman said, that she said she heard dogs, barking dogs. They went into the basement. They started where it was like a piece of foil with a candle on it. So they started digging it up. It was a woman's nail, like a pink nail, a girl's underwear, and then it was another object that was underneath. And they were like, they didn't know whether somebody was into root work and may have been doing that. So they wanted to find out, okay, the woman, who was she involved with? So they went to the guy's house. Maybe he was had some root work done on her. And that's what was going on. When they got to his house, he was like, I don't want to have nothing to do with that. I don't have nothing to say. I don't want to have nothing to do with that. He went inside the house, closed the door, and that was it. He went to the family who was in the house, the family who the film is about. They were like, no, they don't want to have nothing to do with it. Her brother, he came out and he was talking to them. They asked him, have you been in the house? And he was like, yeah, I have. They were like, no, we don't want to do nothing. I'm sure they probably would have talked to him before he had gone into the house. But because he had gone into the house, they were like, we don't want you near us. The brother, the woman's brother, I guess, he comes out, he starts talking to the filmmaker. His name is Zach. He starts talking to Zach. And Zach is like, talking. They won't let the brother come back in the house. They were like, because you was standing next to him, you was talking to him, that it might be on you. You can't come back to the house. So the brother wasn't allowed to come back into the house. The brother, I forgot what the brother was saying, but all the instances he was, talking about all the instances about what was happening in the house and how it really was affecting the little boy the most. It affected him the most, but it affected all of them. He said they would, one would start chanting something that they've never heard. And then the other two would start chanting the same thing as if like, chanting. And he said that it was really taking over the little boy, like the film shows. It was really the little boy that it was taking possession over. And that the caseworker, the one that was played by Monique, she was like, I saw that little boy walk up that wall, crawl up that wall, and say, and like the things that were coming out of his mouth, it wasn't his voice. And then when they asked him, he didn't remember. So everybody that was connected to the film, something happened to them. So while he was in the house, they boarded up the house. They boarded everything around the house. They boarded up everything. He's in the house. He hears somebody, don't take my baby, or they took my baby, or something like that. He hears the growling. He hears the like a loud like growl. And then he said something like a black mass came towards him, and you could see him like going, like throwing something. And he was saying, don't come near me. Don't come near me. Get away from me. Get away from me. get away from me. And then he started throwing, then his, you know, camera went awry or whatever. And then he said his eyes started burning. His eyes started burning, and you could see him like putting his hands over his eyes. His head started hurting, eyes started burning. And then he called for he got out of the house and he called for a demolition of the house, and they demolished the house. And he said, but he kept the little altar, the crucifix that was down in the basement. He kept that crucifix. It was an altar made in the basement. He kept the crucifix from that altar, and then he kept some soil from the house. But everybody was like, even the cops, they came over there. They said it looked like somebody was trying to break in the house. They had left the house unattended. It looks like somebody was trying to break in the house. So the cops were down to the house, and the cops were like, I'm not going in that house. We good. We don't worry about it. We ain't gotta, because the last cops would come in, and to every cop that went into the house, they were just like, no. No. So yeah. So it's based on actual events, y'all. So that was my review. Like I said, the movie was good, but after they were like, no, it's a documentary, I was like, let me go watch a documentary. The movie was good. Shout out to Lee Daniels. He did good. The acting was good. I didn't feel like it was like poorly made. I didn't feel like it was rushed in any way. I felt like the character development was cool. I felt like we understood what was going on between the biracial daughter and her white mother. I felt all of that. I felt the children did really well in the acting, especially that little boy. But then that part where Caleb, I can't remember. It was Andre, and Trey was the friend, his new friend. You could see the swinging and stuff like that. But I felt like I wanted it like, but see, Lee Daniels is not a horror film creator. You needed somebody on there who did horror films. So I felt like the sound editing could have been a little bit scarier, and we could have had a little bit more jump scares. They needed to show the demonic entity. They needed to show that a couple more times, or even like shadows. Like even in the film, in the documentary, there was something that happened in the film, and you could see like this black object coming out of the frame, but coming out from the frame into the frame, and like going to the back of the older man that was doing the EMF readings. He was doing the EMF readings. He got confused. His organs started shutting down. The film crew guy, he was arguing with somebody on the elevator, went away. Now he's all 666, tatted up, got like totally goth, totally. The woman who brought her children in there, the daughter, tried to commit suicide, and then they had to take her to the church. The priest was saying the rites, and you could see her. It was so crazy. You could see her. She was sitting there. As soon as he started talking, he was reading out of the Bible. As soon as he started talking, she started doing like this with her hands. She started doing like this with her. Everybody, it was something with their hands. Everybody was something with hands. And he was looking like, even the guy, the crew, the one that ended up putting 666 on his hands. He was looking at his hands. And then he went down to the basement. Girl, it was crazy the way they showed it. Then the little girl, she's sitting there. She looked about 16. I'd say about 16, 17. She was sitting there, and she started doing her hand. And then she started doing her mouth like that, and then she went like that, and then the priest said that's probably when it left her, because she just like slumped over, and you could see it. It was nothing was altered or anything. She just did like that. I wonder what the update on that girl is. But yeah, it was funny because it was something. It was the way that she asked. Is the demon still in here? I was like, oh shit. Girl, you should not have let your children in that damn house. I don't care how bad they wanted to go in that house. I'd have been like, you can't go in here. No, because the children is what can be like, an adult can feel like, even children, you do have to listen to children, because they can be like, it don't feel right in here. Listen to children, I tell you. Listen to them. It don't feel right in here. Okay, let's go. It don't feel right? Nope. All right, let's go. For real. Okay, I gotta go. You see how it cut off, girl. I gotta go. That's my Deliverance, the Deliverance review. That's why I asked for it to be extra hot, because I rub my mouth, and by the time I get to it, it's hot. It is so good, girl. It's so good, y'all. So 8 out of 10, I give the Deliverance. Y'all, let me know what you think. I love horror movies. One of the first movies I saw in the theater was The Shining. Yes, my mother took me to a movie theater with some other folks in the state of Oregon, no less, in this old movie theater, like old, with the box office in the front, little ticket booth window in the front. That's how old that that theater was. And it was such a long time ago that, remember, they used to show movies before the actual movie. This one had Silent Scream. Silent Scream was the movie before The Shining. Girl, yes. I love scary movies. So I'm a little critical. I like a little psychological. I like it to be like, this can really happen. I'm all about the, entity in the house type, right? The Conjuring, all those I like to see that. That's scary, kind of, the shadow looming out from the corner of the bedroom type shit. You understand what I'm saying? So I felt like it was pretty good. Audra Day, she did well. Look at that. Miss Lawrence did well. Look at that. Miss Lawrence did well. Miss Lawrence and that wig, honey. Miss Lawrence did well. They all did pretty good. They all did good. I don't see any problems with anything of what they did. I thought the acting was good, the wardrobe was good, the hairstyles were good. They did pretty good. So I gotta go. Take care of each other, protect your energy. Let's get down in the comments. Peace. Let me know what you thought of the film. I thought it was good. 8 out of 10. Shout out to Lee Daniels and all the cast, Glenn Close, Audra Day, Caleb, all the kids that did the film. And shout out to the people that actually went through it. Girl, I hope y'all okay. All right, take care of each other. Peace.